welcome to the deep dive. Okay, let's start with a question. What if everything you've been told about making your desires happen isn't just incomplete? What if it's actually working against you? Today we're diving into some material that offers a really different take on manifestation, looking at it from what you might call a quantum angle. Our goal is to unpack these ideas, understand why the usual approach of chasing might be the biggest roadblock, and explore what this perspective suggests is the real key.
It's a fascinating premise, isn't it? Because it really challenges our gut instinct, that ingrained belief that we need to push hard, strive, make things happen. This suggests, well, maybe the path is actually the opposite.
Exactly, and that core question drives this whole exploration. Could it be that by chasing your desires, you're actually pushing them further away? Let's try and unpack that central idea. So, the fundamental premise here is that our culture conditions us to focus on action, on the doing. We think manifesting is about effort, about pushing, about achieving something out there. But this quantum view suggests the key isn't in the doing at all, it's in the being.
And the why behind that is crucial. Unlike, say, the physical reality we're used to, this approach argues that quantum reality, sometimes called the field, it doesn't respond to brute force or, the urgency of our external actions. It responds to something much more subtle, the coherence and the resonance of our internal state. It's as if the universe acts like a mirror, reflecting back not what you say or do, but what you are vibrationally being.
Right, and here's the twist that, according to this material, most people miss. We try to attract abundance while vibrating lack. We visualize love while radiating loneliness, declare freedom while feeling trapped by fear. And the key point here is, the field responds to that energetic contradiction, not the positive affirmations you're repeating or the vision board you made. Manifestation that's seen this way isn't the result of asking for something, it's the result of becoming the frequency of what you desire.
That's a huge distinction. Tuning versus pushing, stop chasing, start embodying. And the paradox is, the state of allowing or flow, which seems passive, is actually the state that activates attraction. This material even brings up the observer effect from quantum physics as an analogy. Our observation influences reality, yes, but it stresses that this influence doesn't come from just any observation. It comes from one infused with expectancy and trust, not the energy of desperation or fear.
I love the radio analogy used here. It's like trying to tune in to 98.7 FM when your dial is stuck on 88.1. It doesn't matter how much you want to hear that station. You won't hear it until you change your tuning. Manifestation, from this view, isn't about begging the universe to give you something. It's about tuning yourself to the frequency of the reality where what you desire already exists as a potential.
And it's fascinating how this core idea resonates with various teachings throughout history. You've got ancient wisdom, like Neville Goddard talking about living from the end, feeling the emotion of the wish fulfilled now. Then there's modern science, like Joe Dispenza's work on brain and heart coherence, creating a unified electromagnetic field, a powerful signal. And you hear echoes in teachings like Abraham Hicks about getting into the vortex, that state of alignment where resistance just melts away.
Yeah.
But if it's so fundamental, kind of simple at its core, why is it so elusive for most of us? This material suggests the reason is simple but profound. Simplicity scares the ego. We're basically hardwired to believe that value lies in effort, in struggle. We think something has to be difficult to be worthwhile. But the logic of the quantum field seems to be the opposite. The effort, the chasing, it often stems from a feeling of lack. And that lack is the frequency you end up amplifying. The simplicity of being instead of doing is so countercultural that, paradoxically, nobody gets it or applies it consistently. Exactly. Let's go back to that mirror idea. Most people use tools like visualization or affirmations, almost like tricks to change the reflection without changing the face looking in the mirror. But the field isn't fooled. It responds to who you are being at your core, not the surface performance. And, well, being abundant while terrified about rent, that's incoherence. Being is about energetic alignment, a congruence between your inner vibration and the desired reality.
This material digs into how that internal signal works, using the concept of the electromagnetic signature, often linked to neuroscience research. It explains that your thoughts are electric, but your emotions are magnetic. Together, they create this unique electromagnetic field that's your signature or your state of being. It's this signature, this blend of mind and emotion that gets broadcast into the quantum field. And it's this signature the field responds to, reorganizing itself to mirror it back.
Think about it with an example. Say your goal is financial freedom. But if your thoughts and emotions constantly revolve around anxiety, scarcity, fear of not having enough, well, your electromagnetic signature is broadcasting exactly that, lack. And the field, acting like a neutral mirror, doesn't judge you. It simply magnetizes more experiences that resonate with the lack you're radiating.
Okay, so if the field responds to our electromagnetic signature, what's the most effective way to change it? According to this view, it's not by chasing a different future, but by embodying that future right now. How? By feeling the emotion, practicing the frequency of your desired reality until it feels familiar, natural, not as self-deception, but as a kind of remembrance. The idea is that in the vast multiverse of possibilities, that version of you, that reality, it already exists. And by consciously aligning with its frequency, you start to collapse that possibility, bringing it into your current experience.
And this isn't just a nice idea. It has echoes in neuroscience. Neuroplasticity shows us the brain actively rewires itself through mental rehearsal. When you vividly imagine living your desired future and, crucially, feel the associated emotions, gratitude, joy, peace, you're building new neural pathways as if that reality is already here. Do that consistently, and your body becomes familiar with that future state. When your biology aligns, your energy aligns. That's what Neville Goddard meant by assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's not faking it, it's merging with the feeling of that reality until it becomes more real internally than your current circumstances.
So here's the heart of it. Manifestation isn't about begging or waiting for something from the universe. It's an act of self-alignment, of meeting the version of you already experiencing that reality, and through resonance, inviting it into the now. And the key for this to actually work: consistency. When you stop waiting for signs and become the sign, when you start watching for synchronicities and start living in sync, that's when your external reality starts to reconfigure itself to match your internal state.
Right, and the observer effect comes back here. An internal observation charged with trust and clarity has far more collapsing power than one tinged with fear or doubt. This material really pushes us to ask, what reality are you constantly validating and observing within yourself with your energy and emotions? Acting as if isn't about pretending confidence, it's adopting the internal posture, the vibration of someone who already knows. Someone who doesn't need external proof because they are the proof. When you master that frequency, you stop just attracting reality towards you. You become the gravity that pulls it in.
So how do we actually move from an ethereal possibility to, concrete form in our lives? These potential realities, the ideal job, the relationship, the abundance, they exist in a state of potential, sometimes called superposition. They aren't waiting for you in some distant future. They're present possibilities. But they don't manifest just because we wish for them. They become tangible when our conscious focus combined with our energetic state causes their collapse. And not just any focus, but one that's emotionally charged, infused with belief, trust, and above all, energetic alignment. Feeling your future as if it's already real stabilizes that frequency in the field and allows it to manifest.
And for that signal to be powerful, coherence between the brain and heart is vital. When we live in stress, fear, or frustration, our thoughts and emotions are often misaligned. We want one thing but feel the opposite. That incoherence sends a weak, garbled signal to the field. But when the brain and heart enter coherence, a state you can actually cultivate, the signal becomes potent, clear. You broadcast a unified frequency of gratitude, trust, certainty. That's the unmistakable signature of someone who already is.
The neurobiology really backs up the importance of emotions here. Emotions are chemical. When you feel gratitude or joy, your body releases peptides and hormones that don't just make you feel good, they literally change your physiology. This physiological shift is your point of attraction. Generating these emotions internally without needing something external to cause them, well, that puts your creative power back in your hands. You stop being a passive receiver of life and become an active broadcaster.
It's the essence of what Neville Goddard was saying. Your assumptions, if persisted in, harden into fact. An assumption held emotionally becomes like a gravitational force that restructures your reality. What you experience externally becomes a reflection of what you are consistently being internally. And this material presents this not just as philosophy, but as a practical application of principles that resonate with quantum physics: the observer effect, entanglement, coherence.
The biggest challenge then, it seems, isn't the technique itself, but consistency in that state of being. This is where most people get stuck. They touch the desired frequency briefly, maybe in meditation or visualization, but then they snap back to worry, doubt, reinforcing the old identity. It's like planting a seed of abundance and then for the rest of the day, digging it up to see if it's growing, watering it with the energy of scarcity. Manifestation in this view demands energetic consistency.
And consistency doesn't mean you have to be in some perfect state of bliss 24/7. That's unrealistic. It means a conscious, repeated choice to return to that desired frequency. Practicing coherence like a daily discipline. To speak, think, feel, even walk, and interact with others as if you were already that version of you living that reality. At first, it might feel like acting, sure, but with practice, you stop acting and you simply start living from that state.
And this is where things get really interesting. When that vibration stabilizes, reality has to respond. That's what you experience as synchronicity. Opportunities popping up out of nowhere, ideas landing, people entering your life at the perfect moment. It's not random magic. It's the quantum field reorganizing itself around the clear, coherent signal you're finally broadcasting consistently. You know you're close to collapse when you stop feeling impatient and start feeling a quiet certainty, a deep knowing in your bones, a sense of inevitability. That's when the question shifts from where is it to this is already mine.
You've moved from being a seeker to being a magnet, from hope to certainty. You've crossed the threshold from possibility to embodiment, and reality, which once seemed distant, is now kind of visualizing you back. Living from the state of your wish fulfilled instead of striving towards it redefines the whole manifestation game.
But if this is how it works, why do so many people, even those who practice these things, feel like they're spinning their wheels? This material suggests the main barrier isn't a lack of desire or even effort, but not knowing how to consistently embody that desired state. They try to think their way into a new life without integrating the feeling. They hope for change while their energy remains anchored in old thought and emotion patterns. And the field responds to energetic certainty, not just hope. Manifestation in this view isn't a mental act, it's a frequency match. You're not building reality from scratch. You're selecting it by aligning with the version that already exists.
How do you know if you're genuinely aligning? Well, you stop obsessing over the hows and whens and looking for signs. You become less reactive to external circumstances and much more tuned into your own internal calibration. As some teachings say, you can't get there from here. You can't attract freedom while vibrating urgency. You can't attract peace if you're immersed in internal chaos. You have to start choosing, feeling, and being as if you're already there. And that's when you start to experience something almost mysterious. Your thoughts change. Your intuition gets sharper, doors open unexpectedly. Synchronicities stop being rare events and become the norm. Reality feels more fluid, almost malleable.
It's like the universe speeds up to meet you. Joe Dispenza talks about how high-frequency emotional states like gratitude or love are often linked with gamma brainwave coherence. In these states, the nervous system becomes more receptive, the electromagnetic field more potent, and manifestation seems to happen with surprising ease. Not because you forced it, but because you've become the channel, the portal through which that reality can flow.
That's why the invitation, according to this material, is really to stop chasing and start attracting through calibration, not effort. If you've ever had those magical moments where everything just clicked effortlessly, where the perfect opportunity just showed up, you've had a glimpse of the quantum field responding to your alignment. The goal is learning to live in that state of coherence and resonance, not by accident, but by conscious choice.
And now, speaking directly to you listening, maybe even to your subconscious, there's likely a reason this message is resonating with you right now. Perhaps you've felt your manifestation stall, felt a resistance you couldn't quite grasp, felt like something was missing. But the truth proposed here is this: you've always been closer than you think. The fact that you're hearing this might even be a sign your field is ready to reconfigure. You're not broken, you're not behind. You don't need to chase anything that isn't already available as potential. What you need is to stabilize the version of you that no longer chases the version that walks with quiet certainty, with a magnetism rooted in being. That version already exists in the quantum field of possibilities. And every moment you choose to remember it, feel it, embody it, you're collapsing the distance between you and your desire.
So maybe let this be a turning point, a moment to stop trying so hard and start remembering, to stop waiting and start embodying the version of you already living that reality. Let it be your personal quantum event, the shift in observer that you need.
This material even suggests something potentially powerful to anchor the shift, something that, in its original context, acted like a vibrational key or anchor. If this message hits home, if you feel something shifting inside, the idea of using something like 777 comes up. Why that specific number? Well, in various traditions, it's often associated with divine alignment, perfect synchronicity, a path unfolding exactly as it should. It's not a magic trick. It's intended as a symbol, a vibrational code. Interacting with it might help you recognize and activate that alignment within yourself.
Right. In that context, using or acknowledging it isn't just engaging with an idea, it's potentially activating it in your own field. reclaiming your state of coherence, becoming a stronger resonance point for that aligned reality you're seeking. It's presented as a way to amplify your frequency, to send a clear signal. I've stopped chasing, now I attract because I already am the person who naturally attracts this.
If the quantum field has a whisper for us, this material suggests it's this. There's nothing fundamental to wait for that isn't already available. Every potential exists. Your role isn't to create it from scratch, but to tune yourself to the frequency of the reality where it already is. And this shift, while it sounds simple, is profound. Stop looking for the signal outside. Become the signal inside.
The reality you desire isn't light years away. It's vibrationally adjacent. You don't need to leap across some huge chasm to reach it. You just need to stop resonating with the old reality. This is what Neville Goddard really meant by assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's an act of self-selection. You're not asking life to adapt to you. You're declaring to the field, this is the frequency I now hold, this is my reality, and the field, obedient to that coherence, responds.
But here's the catch, the crucial detail. You can't fake it. You can't pretend to be in a vibration of abundance while your subconscious is screaming scarcity. You can't recite love affirmations from a place of deep loneliness. The field doesn't respond to the surface performance or mechanical rituals. It listens to the vibration emanating from your deepest state of being, that blend of your thoughts and emotions. And it's there, in that energetic authenticity, that your real power lies.
So how do you live from this power? By practicing coherence, choosing alignment again and again, not just in isolated moments, but as a devotion, a way of life. Speak, walk, think, feel as if you were already that person living that reality. And with practice, you stop straining to act as if, and you simply live from that state. This, according to this perspective, is the underlying quantum code of manifestation one few master, not because it's secret, but because it's radically simple, almost too simple for a mind addicted to complexity and struggle. But that simplicity is the key. When you let go of the need to make it happen, you allow reality to mold itself around you.
Allow yourself to trust that simplicity. Stop waiting to see the evidence outside before you believe. Become the evidence the field can mirror back. The most powerful manifestations often don't arrive with external fireworks. They're felt first as a profound internal shift, a new sense of peace, a quiet certainty, a change in your very breath. The universe, when it delivers what you've already claimed internally, often does so in a whisper. So we'll leave you with this thought to ponder. What if the reality you've been chasing isn't out there waiting for you, but is simply waiting for you to become the version of yourself who already possesses it? What if your next level isn't far away, but just one internal recalibration from where you stand right now?
True mastery really lies in that inner alignment. That's where the power to collapse possibilities is activated.
This has been a deep dive into an intriguing perspective on manifestation. We hope these ideas resonate and offer you a new way to look at your own creative power. Thanks for joining us.